Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. A very good evening, welcome to Premier League Live here on LFS this evening as we round off our opening weekend coverage at Elland Road as Leeds United, newly promoted Leeds United, take on an Everton side under David Moyes with a lot to prove this season. Could they be a top half finisher? Certainly get ahead of myself with top 5 there. Let's see what has happened across the weekend so far. 9 games down, 1 to go as you see. They're just 2 away wins across the weekend. Manchester City and Arsenal winning away at Wolves and Man United and keeping clean sheets in those games. Big results for Liverpool, for Sunderland, for Tottenham as well in the opening weekend, and Nottingham Forest, and then a couple of draws mixed in there as well. Aston Villa, Newcastle finished 0-0, as did Chelsea, Crystal Palace as well. So a cracking opening weekend, full of goals, full of action, and full of the drama. And we have one more to come for you, our 6th and final game here in LFS across this weekend. And it is Leeds against Everton. Kickoff is in about 5 minutes' time. We'll tell you the teams in a few minutes. But let's look at how these two teams start. Leeds tonight, they host Everton this evening, then head to Arsenal next week, and then host Newcastle in 2 weeks' time. It's not an easy start for the newly promoted side, and then after the international break, they head to Fulham, head to Wolves, back-to-back away games, and then back home against Bournemouth. So not an easy start for Leeds. For Everton, they head to Leeds tonight. Their first home game in their new stadium is next Sunday, Brighton at home, followed by Wolves away, home to Aston Villa, then away in the Merseyside derby to Liverpool, and then hosting West Ham in their first 6 games. So not easy starts for either of these two. Well, really, let's have a look and see what next week has got coming up again. This is just kind of a preliminary look at what could be happening next week, but this is the possible feeling that we have. West Ham take on Chelsea Friday night. We definitely have that one for you. And then next Saturday and Sunday, hopefully we'll have these ones as well. Man City Tottenham's an exciting one at City. Arsenal Leeds as well on 5:30. Everton Brighton on Sunday at 2, along with the other 2 o'clock kickoff, Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest. Fulham Man United next Sunday 4:30, but the game of the week, that's something we're going to launch every Premier League weekend. We'll have a big game, a game of the week, and we'll analyse week 1's game of the week at half time, which was of course Man United Arsenal. We'll analyse that at half time. But next week's game of the week is Newcastle against Liverpool, which is 7 days away. A reminder of my predictions from the opening weekend. My final prediction: Leeds take on Everton tonight. I predict a 1-1 draw. For this one, right, it is a big game at Elland Road. The newly promoted side Leeds are back in the Premier League, and they take on Everton and David Moyes at Elland Road. Next. Here are the teams then for this one this evening as the players enter from the tunnel. Lucas Perry starts in goal for Leeds. A back 4 for them of Jadon Bogle, Joe Rodon, Pascal Struijk. A new signing this summer, Gabriel Gudmundsson at left back. In midfield, Ethan Ampadu comes into the midfield, the captain, alongside new signing Anton Stack, who's a big player. We expect alongside, of course, Ayo Tanaka, who's so impressed for Leeds in the midfield of the Championship last season. And that front 3 of Wilfred Gnonto off the left, Daniel James off the right, and leading the line, their leading scorer of last season, Joel Piroe, starts up front. On the bench for Leeds, Darlow, Byram, Bornau, Longstaff, Gruev, Aronson, Ramazani, Harrison and Nemecha. No Dominic Calvert-Lewin after he signed this week for Leeds on a free transfer from Everton, where he was last season, of course. But he is not in the squad tonight, not registered in time to play. Everton, the team that Dominic Calvert-Lewin used to play for, they start with Jordan Pickford in goal tonight. A back four we expect, but it could change. Jake O'Brien, James Tarkowski and Michael Keane, the certain defenders. Tim Irabunum is being hinted at playing at left back, but also James Garner could drop in as well. So it's a mix between those two. Garner and Gay in midfield. Kieran Dewsbury Hall starts in the 10. Carlos Alcaraz on the right hand side. Eamon Njai on the left. And Beto leads the line. On the bench for Everton, Travers, Tierer, Coleman, McNeil, Armstrong, Onyango, Barry and Chermiti, but of course Jack Grealish, the key name on the Everton bench. It is two very old school sides, but in a new style night here on the Monday night. It is the final game of the opening weekend of the Premier League. It's Leeds United against Everton. Kick-off is next. Hello and good evening. Welcome to Premier League Live with me, Caoimhan Ferris, this evening, as I said, for our final game of the opening weekend. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. Also at half-time, we'll have a look at the big takeaways from this weekend. And we have a video that went up on our socials a little earlier. We'll show you that on our big takeaways of the opening weekends. But of course, before we get to the footballing action tonight, as has been the case across the Premier League weekend, all 10 Premier League games have taken a minute's silence before kick-off in all of those games to remember, of course, the tragic losses of Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, who sadly left us far too early just last month. We'll remember them for the next moment. Wonderfully observed, as it has been all weekend across the Premier League. The support, I'm sure, is greatly welcomed by Diogo and Andre's families. Now, to the football tonight, and as I said, this one, a big one. Contrasting results for the two other newly promoted sides. Sunderland thrashing West Ham 3-0. Burnley getting thrashed 3-0 against Tottenham. Can Leeds pick up a win on the opening weekend, or can Everton put a blow to the start of Leeds United's campaign here at Elland Road? We're about to find out. It will be David Moyes' side that will get us underway for the new season here, and we are off and running at Elland Road for game 1 of 38 of this season for these two clubs. As I said, Leeds United are known in history as one of the top clubs in the country, but over the last few years it's been a bit topsy-turvy for Leeds United, and they want to add a bit of stability. That's what Daniel Farker said. They deserve to be in the top flight of English football, a lot more than they have been over the last 2 decades. Well, it all starts tonight in trying to do that, and in trying to give them that stability they ever so long for here at Leeds. A wonderful football club, a wonderful fan base, an incredible stadium. You know, everything's right for them. They just need to get it right on the pitch. Let's see how they perform tonight against a very tough to beat Everton side. We know how good Everton are. We've already seen it. We've seen it when David Moyes came into the club and returned last season after Sean Dyche was sacked. And what a return for David Moyes, a real hero at Everton, of course, as it was. And they started really, really well. 19 games under him. And they only lost 5 of them, I believe. That's a fabulous turnaround. Let's see how they start tonight, of course, in this new season. Long ball forward there from Everton, but nicely cut out by Leeds. Here is Goodmanson. Under pressure there from Alcaraz, but he works out of it well. And then the tight spaces there, Leeds. They find a little bit of space. And now a chance for a break on here. It's striding forward, but that's well kept alive by the midfielder there. As it's Nonto couldn't quite squeeze inside. And Everton under pressure with Jake O'Brien under pressure from Willie Nonto. We'll go out for an Everton goal kick, but the intensity there from the wide player of Leeds finding its way, putting Everton under pressure in these early moments. Of course, some new faces, of course, in for Leeds United. And one thing we was looked at before the game, and actually it picked up on, is the fact that a lot of the Leeds signings, if not all of them, are very tall. All but one of their signings this summer are actually 6 foot or over. They won it back well there. Tanaka a little bit short, trying to find it down the right to James, and nicely recovered by James Garner down that side. As he tries to play it down the left to find Beto, who came across, and it just goes out for a throw-in. Thank you very much for joining. Reese says, what's your score prediction? I predicted a 1-1 draw before the weekend started, but who knows? Who really knows? Finley says, evening, sir. Who do you think wins? As I said, I think it will be a draw, but you never know. Anything can happen. Across the weekend, I've not done too bad with my predictions. Score predictions are hard to guess in the opening weekend, but results-wise, I think I've got mostly right. Here's Carlos Alcaraz. Down the right-hand side come Everton. Tried to cross in there, but flag's actually going to go up against Everton on that occasion. And that's going to be a free kick to Leeds. Jake O'Brien getting forward there and just caught himself offside as he linked up with Alcaraz. There's no doubt about the atmosphere. When Leeds are on top, when Leeds are flying, this place is probably one of the best in English football for atmospheres, but you gotta say, we'll see how they perform tonight. It's not an easy task against Everton, but something tells me these two will have a good tussle, a good physical battle, as that's a long ball by the new Leeds keeper Perry. Everton win it back with their defenders as they pump it long themselves this time, but Beto, the centre forward, is well covered by 2 Leeds defenders, and they get it back to their keeper. Finley says, do you support one of these teams? No, I don't. I am a Liverpool supporter. And that answers Reese's question as well. Misa Life says, which player impressed the most on match day 1 so far? Well, actually, I'll get to that a little later, because that's our big takeaways from the opening weekend. I think the player that impressed the most is, here's a chance in behind for Leeds, and Peru made the run. It was a lovely ball by Willie Nonto. It was poor from Everton, really. In a sense, they allowed Willie Nonto to get a little bit of space here on the left side. He fires it into the box. Poor touch by Tarkovsky. Lets it get past him. He gets a toe to it, but he actually directs it into the path of Joel Peru, who has a shot with his left. It's low and hard, and a fabulous little save from Jordan Pickford, who comes flying out of the traps, and it's gone for a Leeds corner. Right-footed delivery. Flicked on the near post. Oh! Nearly dealt with there. And Tanaka was almost in at the back post. Whip back in again. and caught by Jordan Pickford. That's positive from Leeds. Again, the corner whipped in. I think we've seen that a bit with Leeds last season in the Championship. They worked that corner, they flick it on the near post, and it's Tanaka again, who took up that back post a lot last season, and he was there again. He was well covered on that occasion, but that could have been a threat. That was better from Leeds. And that was a little bit poor from Everton down the line. A wasteful bit of play. And a throw in already taken by Joe Rodon to get Leeds back in play. And there's the stats. 7 of their 8 summer signings, Leeds, are 6'1" or 6 foot or taller. The tallest 6'6", which is their goalkeeper, by the way, Lucas Perry, who's 6'6". Only Goodmanson, who plays left back tonight, is 5'11", but still quite tall. So the height is an area of which they wanted to use to their advantage, Leeds, and already have some tall players. Here's Daniel James, lovely ball in behind here. And Bogle made the run forward, but he just couldn't catch up with the ball. Again, nice idea. Winger coming deeper. The fullback actually cutting inside on that inside run, that underlap. He was tracked all the way by Iliman Njai, but he did well there, Jayden Bogle, just to make that run, but unfortunately the ball just evaded him. Everton playing into Leeds' hands a little bit here early doors, allowing them to have a little bit of control, a little bit of positivity and get the crowd up a little bit. Everton showing too much to their opponent so far, I would say. 100% Finlay. I was about to say that you were talking about which player impressed the most on match day 1. Tiani Reinders, definitely, for Manchester City. Fabulous debut for him. Although a lot of players impressed over the weekend, but him particularly. And that was one of my big takeaways of the opening weekend, certainly. And Reece says, how did you do against Bournemouth? Yeah, we played well. 4-2 win. I'll take it. Get off to a winning start. That's all you can really ask for, and some good moments as well. It's always Liverpool that always seem to do it the tricky way, but we got the win, and that's all that matters. We're not here to talk about Liverpool tonight anyway, though. We're here to talk about their rivals in Everton, how they start along with Leeds, and Leeds tussling and battling with James Tarkowski again, who wanted a foul, but he's not going to be giving it for that. Just a little bit soft, and it will be a throw into Everton, but wanted a foul there, James Tarkowski. 8 minutes gone, 0-0. Not really much has happened. Leeds probably had the most impactful moment of the game that was worked out by Willie Nunto and Joel Peru, but other than that, not much action so far in these early moments. It's battling again, O'Brien, well closed down that left-hand side, and now the pressure is on as Tarkowski goes back to Pickford, who sends it flying. Nunto couldn't compete on that occasion, but nice header won by Stack in the midfield, and couldn't keep it alive. So that's a thumper of a shot. Or a thumper of a kick, by the way, from Goodmanson. Gets rid of it without any questions asked. He made 13 Champions League appearances for Lille last season, so he's got the quality, he's got the ability at the top level for Leeds. And let's see what he can deliver, Gabriel Goodmanson, this season. The Swedish left-back, 26-year-old, as I said, 5'11", and left-footed, and joined Leeds for £10 million from Lille in the summer. Trying the long ball there to link up with Beto, but they've given it away cheaply, Everton, and now here's Peru. Peru going to have a go. He got a good shot off, but it was blocked. Will be a corner. You see that again, good pressure from Leeds. Everton try and go a bit longer towards Beto, who drops deeper, but they have the pressure in the midfield, Leeds. Tanaka there as well, working hard, winning the ball back, getting it forward quickly, finding Joel Peru, who has a shot deflected for a corner, of which one of their new signings, Anton Stack, will take on this right-hand side. Stack, right-footed, lifts it across, up and away. In there by Beto, back defending. And Jai in there trying to bring it down on the left side here. Gets it back to Garner, who sends it flying up the field. Bogle sends it back the way it came, and Piru with a flick-on header. Puts Garner under pressure. Garner deals with that well, although he hits it right at Dan James and out for the throw. A little bit sloppy in the first few minutes, Everton. They're not really getting the ball down. They're not really trying to move the ball. Trying to be very direct, and Leeds are closing it out quite quickly. Able to deal with that directness. Another long ball. And sails right over the top. And just gathered back by Pascal Struijk. Of course, a number of these Leeds players have been on the journey with them from Premier League to Championship, back to the Premier League over the last number of years. One of which Pascal Struijk, who's been here for a good while for Leeds, as well as Ethan Ampadu, the captain. And Willie Gnonto was in the Premier League a number of years ago as well. So there is a number of players in this Leeds side where you go, they have that experience of what they did wrong the last time around, what they didn't do well, what they can improve on. That experience is crucial, of course, as well as young talent, new fresh talent, and also some really high quality physical players. Here's Gudmundsson, finds Ayo Tanaka. Down to the left hand side here for Gudmundsson. Gnonto. Nice little combination with Piru. Gudmundsson rolls it through. Here's Willie Gnonto into the box. Can he get a cut back? He tried the cross, it was deflected. Another Leeds corner incoming. Really positive again. Down that left hand side. Nice combination, nice little triangle passes. Really good movement from Gnonto. He lays the ball off, he moves really quickly. It allows the movement between Stack and Gudmundsson. And Gudmundsson plays a lovely ball through the lines. Gnonto not tracked, plays it into space, and it's a really good move as Leeds take the corner short. Gnonto back to Stack. Stack with a cross, cleared away by Garner at the front post. And Gnonto with a first touch round the corner. That's a lovely touch. A nice Stack's got space down the left here. And Beto has to stop him. And another Leeds corner will come. Really, really positive from Daniel Farker's side so far. Really, really positive. Putting pressure on Everton in these early moments, and the crowd responding to their team's positive start. Left-footed delivery, whipped in. Header half cleared. Falls for Dan James, who's told to shoot by the crowd. He is going to shoot, but it's charged down. And that's good recovery, ultimately, from Leeds, who could have been in a tricky position, but their captain Ampadu does well to keep them in the fight and keep possession, certainly, which is crucial. Look at that, 48% of the possession in the first half so far has been in Everton's final third, in their defensive third. 41% in the middle third of the pitch, and only 11% of the ball has been in Leeds' defensive third. So a very positive start for the home team. Here's Willie Gnonto down the left hand side again. He takes on a man. He tries to cross this time. Blocked again by Jake O'Brien. That's going to be another corner. They're racking up the corners early on here, Leeds. I think this is going to be corner number 5. Yeah, 5 corners in 14 minutes. Really, really strong start. Can try and test Jordan Pickford. Along with that, they're off to a flyer. Anton Stack has gone over to take this one. Right-footed in-swinger it will be from that left side. That it is, whipped in. Header is on and headed away. There somehow, I don't know who got a connection to it, but it was headed away from goal. Whipped back in by Dan James. Another one away, and the shot from distance is deflected up into the air. Tanaka bats it across, it's still alive, it's a scramble. Everton all over the place, and they do get it away, but my goodness me, where was Jordan Pickford going? Leeds have Everton by the throat. This is most certainly not the start I would have expected. But Everton, they're folding here. They are shocking. I mean, Ayo Tanaka got a header to that ball and almost headed it into the net. Somehow it didn't go in, but Jordan Pickford, he was trying to come and claim the ball and he didn't know what was around him. Lack of awareness. Lovely little direct ball here from Leeds. Stack lays it out wide. Bogle with a cross in. Up and away by Tarkovsky. But it is one-way traffic in the first 15 minutes here. All Leeds United. And Everton are just fortunate that they're not behind here at the minute. That's the only positive they can really claim, because they have had absolutely nothing going forward, and they haven't really been able to get out of their own half so far just yet. It's crucial for Leeds, though, in this period of time to really take advantage of this. Here's Gudmundsson. Back to Stark. Ampadu. Nice layoff here to Stroik. Down the left-hand side comes Nonto. Willie Nonto takes on a man again here. Bunham does well that time with a good challenge, but he can't keep it in play. Jack Grealish is on the bench tonight for Everton, but he will, of course, make an appearance, I suspect. No Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Leeds tonight, which might be a little bit of a blow, but they'll certainly have him in weeks to come. Nonto works it back to Ampadu. Scramble there, a loss of the ball from Bogle. He waited on it too long. Allowed Alcaraz to intercept. Maybe something Everton can work on here to get the ball back and use it to their advantage. O'Brien all the way back to Pickford. Now Michael Keane. Again, a hot ball into the middle and a bundling over of Kieran Dewsbury-Hall on that occasion. Sees Everton get a free kick. See this corner again. Corner's whipped in. It's up and away. Flaps at it, Pickford. Gets nowhere near it. I'm trying to see who gets to it. This is a little later. The shot up in the air. Gordon Pickford tries to come for it. He's not getting there. Tanaka tries to get it back across. And Keane's there to block it. But Pickford was in no man's land on 2 occasions there in the air. He was very lucky his team got him out of trouble, because that was really dangerous from Leeds United. Leeds have had 4 shots, 1 on target, 61% possession, 5 corners, 1 big chance. I mean, a fabulous first quarter of an hour here for Leeds United. Long kick forward this time, well held by Peru. Stepped in, did. I think that was... not too sure who that was, actually. Apologies. And that pump ball forward just will be recovered by Jordan Pickford. But yeah, really positive from Leeds. Everton not looking bright so far, as you can see from the stats on the top left right hand side of your screen. All red, which is reflective of the home team. The black is the away team. So at the minute, Leeds dominating. Everton trying to get some possession in the last few minutes just to get them up the field a little bit. But Nonto tracking back well. Wins the ball back. Ampadu. Lovely little layoff down the left here, and they're on and flying. Although Pickford will come and get this one. Or will he? He does. He thumps it away. But again, they're losing the ball in tight areas, Everton. Leeds are really intense with their press, and Everton are getting caught out time and time again, especially in midfield. Leeds are running riot. Gudmundsson to take this through on the left side. Brought down by Stark. Gudmundsson. Nice little turn away from Bunham. Stark reverses it into Tanaka. A bit of space here for Leeds. Tanaka lays it off to Bogle, who's arriving. Jayden Bogle. Out wide it goes to Dan James. James on the right hand side. Dan James across. And away it goes by Michael Keane. And it's going to bobble out for a throw to Leeds, which they take very quickly with Ampadu. Stroik not looking to wait around whatsoever in these early moments, Leeds. Stroik, Nonto, Tanaka. What's impressed me so far is about their passing, Leeds. It's very various. There's a lot of differences. They can come short, play little quick passes in between the lines. They can play long ball. They can play wide passes, can switch it. It's really competitive in terms of their passing lane so far, Leeds, and they're moving about really nicely. Keeping Everton guessing a lot of the time. And they're not rushing those passes. They're timing them right. which is catching Everton. As I say, catching them out a little bit. Ampadu. Stroik. On the left hand side to Gudmundsson. Back to Pascal Stroik. Once again. Nonto dropping back. Gudmundsson, lovely little touch to find Gudmundsson, and back inside to Gudmundsson again. Really lovely football. Tanaka. Swinging it out to the far right side. He's got Dan James, got options in the box. He whips it in. The shot. Oh, it's headed back across. Back post. O'Brien just gets a touch to it. And the flag's going to go up. But again, they look like they've got it calm under control, Leeds, and then they burst into life out of nowhere. Dan James has got it here. He fires it into the box. It falls for Peru. Touch takes a deflection. Bogle then tries to head it back across goal. And in the end, he was in an offside position. But again, out of nowhere, Leeds just come to life. And that change in tempo, that such quickness to boost themselves into high tempo, Leeds, is something Everton at the minute are really hanging on to deal with, because there have been many an occasion so far in the first 21 and a half minutes that Leeds could really have tested Everton a lot. And not just tested them, but certainly threatened them. And I was doing my preparation for this game across the weekend, and looking at stats and looking at things you can pinpoint, like the many times they played each other, recent performances, records, all that type of stuff. And a lot of it's very negative for Leeds, as you would probably expect with Everton being a very good established side, and Leeds up and down over the last few years. Not many positives to take, but so far tonight, already what we've seen in the first quarter of this game, it's been very positive from Leeds. Really positive. Start as you mean to go on is the one saying I would really throw at any team that comes up to the league. Start as you mean to go on. Don't come out on the opening night or the opening weekend and sit back, sit deep, lay off, hope for something. Go out and show the teams why you're here and why you deserve to be here. That's a lovely ball down the left hand side here for Willie Nonto. He's found the space again. Edge of the box. He's turning Jake O'Brien inside and out. And then he tries the reverse ball for Gudmundsson on the overlap. Couldn't quite find his teammate on that occasion. Again, really good. Really, really positive from Leeds. As I was saying, you know, show why you're meant to be here. Why you should be here. Why you deserve to be in this team. There's a man who would always fight for the cause. Liam Cooper. Spent 10 years at the club. Very experienced Leeds United player, that man. Pickford plays it forward. A lot of Everton's passes have actually come between their two centre-backs and their goalkeeper, really, in the first quarter of this match. They've struggled to work it anywhere near enough between the lines. The midfield's practically not been involved in the game so far for Everton. Again, that long ball down the right-hand side. Intercepted by Leeds once again. Alcaraz gets stepped across. Peru dropping a little deeper. Stack plays it in. Lovely little touch. Couldn't quite find the through ball there. Gudmundsson to his centre forward, and Everton do intercept it, but it goes out for the throw. And now every time the ball goes out of play or it's stop, this game stops. There's applause from the Elland Road crowd, and jeers and cheers and excitement, as they've been thoroughly entertained in the first 24 minutes without seeing a goal. It's been thoroughly entertaining from Leeds. That was a little loose on that header, but Ampadu getting himself right in the mix and gives away gets a foul off Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Once again, Leeds on the move quickly. Bogle will work it back to Rodon, and now Stroik. Ray says, which three teams do you think will go down? I did my season predictions. I've just put them up on my wall, actually, today. I think Burnley, Brentford and Wolves are the three teams I've predicted to go down. I don't I think Brentford, too much change in too little amount of time. Wolves, they haven't really replaced top quality players that really kept them in the Premier League last season. They were really not competitive for the vast majority of last season. And as well as that, Burnley, I think they just struggle for goals. Burnley, I'm thinking this season defensively, they were amazing last season. I think they've lost their goalkeeper, they've lost key defenders, and also I just don't think they have as much a goal threat as probably other teams. I think I've predicted Leeds and Sunderland to be really competitive, really positive, and stay in the division. I think they'll finish 16th and 17th, but I think they'll stay in the division. I think they'll be very good teams on their day, and so far we've seen Sunderland over the weekend have a really good day at the Stadium of Light, and so far tonight, in the first 26 minutes, Elland Road has been rocking, and they've been loving watching their team in the first 26 minutes. That's a lovely pass. Really tight space, and they switch it here, Leeds. Good touch by Dan James. Cuts on the inside. Lofts it into the box too high for Wilfred Gnonto. And a nice idea. Nice opportunity. Leeds moving the ball nicely once more. Well, let's get to these stats then. Leeds have racked up just one win in their past 11 Premier League meetings against Everton, and haven't managed victory against the Toffees in their last 5 meetings. Including that, they've lost just in the Championship. They lost just one of their last 28 league fixtures, won 19, drawn 8. So they don't know recently how to lose games of football, Leeds. That's something they can take into this. They've won their last 6 league games, which were all Championship games, of course, last season. And we saw a shot of Jack Grealish there a second ago, and it looked like he was trying to give tactical information to the bench, it seemed. He was kind of sitting on the bench, and he was talking to someone, and he was talking about this, doing this, like balls over the top and all that type of talk. He was like giving a tactical meeting on the sideline there, Jack Grealish, on the bench. Throw into Everton down the right-hand side. It's probably the furthest they've been forward in a good while, and they're going to put some of their defenders up the field. Tarkowski and Keane have come forward. This is a very interesting idea from Everton. They're going to go for a long throw. Well, actually going to go short. Second phase. Irabunim's cross. Away at the near post by Leeds. Tim Irabunim. Ball lifted in, and it's right into the hands of the new Leeds keeper, Perry. He's going to send it flying towards Dan James, and it's ushered well by Jake O'Brien and out for a throw-in. I've got to say, I've been really impressed with Leeds so far in the first 28 minutes of this game. I know I expected them to be good. I have been expecting them to be good from what we've seen and what I saw of Leeds last season, but the way they've started is really well. And here come Everton with their first real opportunity going forward. Alcaraz gets into the box, and that's well ushered back to their goalkeeper, Lucas Perry. He's had to make his first high-pressured claim of the night. Does well there. Good run forward. I think it's Idrissa Gueye that gets forward. He plays it across to Alcaraz, who comes to the edge of the box. He tries to drift in, and he's well tracked by the Leeds defenders, and it's ushered back to Lucas Perry in the Leeds goal. It was actually Everton's first touch in the opponent's box tonight. Let's look at that. They're finding passes where they're not meant to find passes, Leeds. And Tanaka still trying to get a pass off, even when he's dragged to the ground. And that's a late foul there. Yeah, it's Peru, drops deeper, rounds it, puts it round the corner to Stack, and then Stack Stack plays it off to Tanaka, who's dragged back by Irabunim. Again, the passing has been really impressive from Leeds so far. Here's Jayden Bogle. Tried the ball inside, but deflected and came back outside, which helped Everton recover, but Garner's given it away cheaply to Ayo Tanaka, but he's dispossessed well. Oh, Everton sloppy again with a reverse pass, but Garner's there to get it back to his keeper, and Pickford takes no risks in sending it long, but again, Leeds recover it well. And every time you think Everton are going to do something positive, Leeds have always got the answer. press them really high, push them into forcing the ball long, and we'll recover it on a header, or we'll get the ball back to our centre-backs and have our belief in competing for the ball. I mean, really, really positive. That's a lovely ball down the right-hand side for Jayden Bogle to chase. He's got Garner in cover, and Garner puts it out for the throw-in, but Jayden Bogle making that run, and he's worked the ball into the box, and it's lofted in and away by Irabunum. Again, even on a quick throw, Everton look all over the place. Nonto try to force it a little bit, but look at that, the recovery from Stack. And here's Tanaka, is told to shoot. He does. He probably should have betted against it. And in the end, goal kick comes about. But every time, Leeds have just got this unbelievable energy levels so far. I mean, you do have to question whether that will continue right through the 90 minutes and whether it's sustainable over 90 minutes. But so far, they look like there's no task too tough for them in this game so far. Push up the field again, that press. Aerial battle won, but they've dropped down. It's dropped fortunately here for Everton. Iliman and Jai ripping through, but that's a fabulous cut across there by Bogle to intercept it. And again, Leeds get it moving with the midfield quickly. Here's Nonto in his own half at the minute. He was going to try the long ball, but he just decides to recycle it with Tanaka. As the lie leads to have the possession for the moment. Reece says, have you seen Sunderland's Monday Night Football movement on the intro? Yeah. I always love the new graphics. I always love the updated graphics. Yeah, the two black cats either side of the Stadium of Light. I did spot it. I watched out for it at the start of the show. Yeah. Your Leeds down the left-hand side. Stack. Gudmundsson. Again, really good work. Gudmundsson works it back to Stroik. It looks like Daniel James has gone to the left-hand side here, and I think they might have just swapped sides for the moment. The Leeds wingers. Here's Bogle. Trying to reverse it round the corner. Well challenged by Garner, but he does well. Bogle under pressure. Gets it back to Rodon. It goes back to Perry. Just about keeps that one in. That was a little bit nervy there from Leeds as Rodon sends it flying. Well won by Keane, but again, everybody in there for Leeds are looking for it, and the pressure's on Tarkovsky, who again sends it flying out of the confines of the pitch. We'll see this again. Did it stay in? It was out. That was out. He got lucky there, Lucas Perry, because that did cross his own byline, and he was very lucky the assistant didn't see that. So that would have been a Everton corner, and a pretty cheap corner to give away from good Leeds possession, but they get the rub of the green for the moment. You got to say, for the first 33 minutes, they certainly do deserve a bit of luck. They've certainly worked for it. Here's a move down the left-hand side for Leeds now. Ball fizzed across the box. There was some pace on that one from Gudmundsson, but it was too much for anybody to get anywhere near. I feel if anybody got their foot to that was coming right off, because that was some pace on that cross from Gudmundsson. Daniel Farker, I'm sure he knows his side have started well, but I'm sure, as I said, and I'm sure he's thinking the same. Yeah, but we need to get a goal. You need that goal to go along with that positive start, and that will be the one thing I think that has been missing from Leeds' performance so far, is that finish and the goal. Everything else has gone pretty perfectly for them in the first 34 minutes of their Premier League return. So much so Everton have yet to have a shot in the game, haven't had a corner, haven't created anything further forward in this moment, and have had just one touch in the opposition box. So they have been completely blanked in this first half, Everton. It's a good challenge in the midfield there. He sees Tanaka on the ground. He's still on the ground, which Leeds will play on for the moment until he does get back to his feet there. Does the Leeds player. Ampadu. Strike. And the left-hand side, Gudmundsson lays it off nicely to Willie Gnonto. O'Brien backtracking. He's got Alcaraz for cover as well. Gnonto, a little tricky customer. Nice work again, the combination stack. Now Gudmundsson trying to work into space to get the cross in. He was challenged there. He was fouled, some of the Leeds fans believe, but the referee says play on. Ampadu works it into Joel Pirout, who feeds it out wide again to Gudmundsson. Bodies in the box. Gudmundsson's cross bouncing around, and Dan James couldn't keep it down with his connection. Yeah, again, a lovely cross again by Gudmundsson. Good work from Leeds. Drag Everton infield, then find it out wide to create the space for the cross. Gudmundsson again finds it in nicely, and it's over the head of Stack, just about. And then Dan James tries to get a toe to it. He does, and the touch, ever so slight, shows the pace on it because it goes flying over the bar, and it took a deflection on the way through, so it will get Leeds a corner. Right-footed, which they take from post. Oh! Cleared away at the back post again. Gnonto had a go. It will deflect its way towards Tanaka on this right side. Ao Tanaka hits it off O'Brien, and will be another Leeds throw down this right-hand side. They're certainly pushing for that opening goal, Leeds United. They haven't just found it at this moment in time. Ethan Ampadu smiling to the crowd and how they've started. I think maybe reacting to some of the shouts from the crowd, maybe. Ethan Ampadu going for that long throw. Into the box it comes. Away by Everton. Gnonto there to pick it up on the edge of the box. And he feeds it back out wide to his captain. Takes it down nicely, Ampadu. Ampadu with a cross. It's whipped in. Away again by Everton. And Gnonto recycles again. Rinse and repeat from Leeds. Road on. Gudmundsson. Now Tanaka worked out to the left-hand side. He goes right-footed with a cross. Blocked. Pirout keeps it alive. Stack there trying to link up with his striker. And Ampadu comes crashing in to win the ball. Physicality as well as a step inside here. It's shot. Deflected. Palm saved by Pickford to get it away. Again, Everton looks sloppy all over the place again. I mean, what planet are they on? And that's a little bit of a late foul there by Joel Pirout on Idrissa Gueye, and that's going to get Everton a free kick. But again, from that cross, the space is far too much on that left-hand side. Again, Leeds win it back nicely here. Very good challenge on Kieran Dewsbury Hall by Ampadu. Thumping challenge. Fair, wins the ball and nothing more. Cracking challenge. It works out wide. Gudmundsson's got the space. There's no one there for Everton. Diego O'Brien's a bit too late. And the cross comes in, and it takes a little deflection. It catches Jordan Pickford out. He has to throw a hand at it to get it away. But Everton, very reactionary at the minute, and just about getting away with it. If this continues, it's only a matter of time before Leeds find that goal. Long ball over the top there from Pickford. But again, the first ball won by Leeds. Second ball won by Everton. Deeper for them, and Gudmundsson challenging Alcaraz, but the last touch off the Leeds player. We'll see an Everton throw come down this right hand side. Well, as I said, for all of the pressure from Leeds, again, there is the difference maker. That's what they haven't done, is find the goal yet. That's what Everton will be positive about. I said that about 10 minutes ago as well. They'll be happy, Everton, that yes, despite a really poor start to the game and a really lackluster start in possession, even when Leeds have had so much of the ball and so much of the attack and play, they're yet to haven't conceded, and that's a positive that Everton can certainly take from the game. As throw-ins actually been given Leeds' way here. Diego O'Brien's claiming that Willie Gnonto put it out of play, but the assistant on that side didn't think so, and the referee is going to believe in his assistant. The referee this evening, Chris Kavanagh. And a Leeds throw down this left side. Gudmundsson to take. Looking for the long one down the line. Well won by Everton. Second ball won by the Toffees, but brought down by Ampadu. And now Gudmundsson again. Try to work it inside and get another throw. Gudmundsson to work Leeds up the pitch a little bit more. Another one down the line. O'Brien intercepts this one. As they try and press. Everton, they go all the way back to the keeper again. Pickford. And that's really poor distribution from Jordan Pickford. He's put it straight out of play under no pressure whatsoever. This is just reflective of the first half that Everton have had. They just haven't been able to create anything or do anything. Any real positive note. It's not been a great start. That's it. Bit of an open ball by Perry. Given away here to Iliman Njai. Dewsbury Hall. Now Idrissa Gueye. Back to Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Trying to get some passes, some touches now, Everton. Garner. Dewsbury Hall again. Again, moving it a little bit better there as they work it back to Keane. Now Tarkowski. Back to Michael Keane. And Idrissa Gueye again. At the back here with Tarkowski to Everton. Work it out wide to O'Brien. Again, Leeds wait patiently for the chance to intercept, and there's Stroik winning the ball back. Nonto. Stack. Out wide it goes to Gudmundsson again, and back to Anton Stack. Gets rid of it quickly to Nonto. Again, those three combining quite a lot down that left-hand side. Gudmundsson, Nonto and Stack. Seems to be the real designated three down that side for Leeds that use their combination to find a way past the Everton defence down that side. On that occasion, they can't find it, and it comes all the way back to Lucas Perry. He tries to find the left-hand channel again, and he will do. Not directly, but it does find its way to Leeds players as they try and pump it across the field. James back out to this right-hand side. Dan James wins the ball, and bouncing down. Garner has to slide in to make the tackle, and that he does. Will be another Leeds throw. 2.5 minutes of the first half to go. That's absolutely flown by this first half at Elland Road. At half-time, we'll look at the big takeaways from the opening weekend. We'll also, as well at the same time, talk about the game of the week, which was, of course, Arsenal's 1-0 win at Manchester United. We'll talk about that at half-time. Here is Ethan Ampadu with another long throw for Leeds. Into the box. Bouncing down. It could have been a chance there for Peru, but he couldn't control it. Comes out to Nonto. Jinks past his man. Nonto going for goal! And that just sails over the crossbar. Lovely from Tanaka. Lays it back to Nonto. Nonto gets it onto his right. Chops back onto his left past Alcaraz. And then goes for the shot from distance, from range. Pickford, I think, might have got a hand to it, even if it did dip at the last second, but Nonto had a go. It was rising, and it just goes over the bar. That was their, if I'm not mistaken, their 12th shot of the first half from Leeds United. Wow. Everton, as I said, still yet to register a shot in this game. So it has been completely one-way traffic. But the key point that Everton, I'm sure, will still look at half-time, if it ends up this way at half-time, is that they haven't conceded. That's the crucial factor. I think if Leeds score, of course, that idea will be a lot more negative from Everton. But for the moment, beggars can't be choosers, in the fact that their only positive of this first half, really, is the fact that they've kept a clean sheet so far. We have a throw in down this right side. Last minute of the first 45. I don't know if we'll have much additional time, but I'd say 1 or 2 minutes, possibly, before the interval. Michael Keane. Back to Tarkowski. Dewsbury Hall. Tarkowski. Pumping it long, looking for the runners. Again, Leeds deal with it. Second ball won by Garner, and a nice run from the inside the out here from Idrissa Gueye gets him into the box. Back out, forced out to Garner again. He was trying the cross, but he was stopped there by Bogle, and Dewsbury Hall was forced back the way by Leeds. That's really positive. And we don't have any additional minutes at the end of the first half. So it is as you were from the start of the game till the half-time whistle. But one thing has for certain sent this home crowd into a lot of positivity going into the break, is the fact that their team have absolutely dominated the first half. Possession and stats all in their favour. But the one thing Everton will look at is it's still goalless at the break. Leeds 0, Everton 0 at half-time at Elland Road. We'll be back in a few minutes. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to Premier League Live, half-time at Elland Road. It's Leeds 0, Everton 0 at the break, in a first half that surely did excite. It flew by. It felt like it went in a flash. It was really, really quick, but what a very entertaining first half, albeit, as I said, no goals. But I think from Leeds' point of view, that is as positive a first half as they could have without scoring a goal. I think they've done everything right but find the net. That's it. If they continue on that trajectory from what they've done in that first half, they can easily do well in this game and maybe use that for the future. But again, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. But what a first half from them. Everton completely non-existent in that first half. I gotta say, they've really struggled to get the ball down, to get it through the lines, to pass it, to even find a ball to Beto in this game whatsoever. He's had that's his sprints. He's had 7 sprints, 9 touches in the first half from Beto. He's barely been involved in the game, and most of his involvements have been around about the halfway line, trying to get any sort of touches on the ball. So they've barely been in the final third of Leeds Everton. If I go back to their touches in the opposition box, they have 2 in that whole of that first half. And I probably could pinpoint the 2 of them. Carlos Alcaraz with one of them, and the other one from Idrissa Gueye. When they made moves forward. That's how little they've had. You can name them. Leeds, on the other hand, 17 touches in the opposition box. Again, Leeds, 12 shots in that first half, 1 big chance. 0.72 XG is a little bit low for the fact that they've had so many chances. So there's something they need to create better chances with their opportunities. But again, 12 shots, only 1 of those 12 shots on target. That is a little bit of an issue. But again, 7 of those 12 shots have been blocked. So they've tried to get them towards the goal. Everton have blocked them. So they've defended well, Everton, at the same time. But you got to say, very, very impressive from Leeds. They've come out of the traps, flying out of the traps in this first half of their first Premier League game of the season. And they've come out fighting like a house on fire. Absolutely wonderful. And yeah. At the minute, it is goalless, but we have a big second half to come very, very soon. Before that, we're going to have a look at our game of the weekend. Now, this was a very, very good game, the game of the week. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal getting off to a winning start. Ricardo Calafiori with a winner in that game against Man United, scored in the 13th minute with a header from a corner. It's the most Arsenal... it's the most Arsenal goal we've ever seen, the most Arsenal win over the last 18 months that we saw. And here's some interesting factors from it. Arsenal scored with their first corner of the new season, so their very first corner of the season. They found the net. It is the most Arsenal thing to do ever. Calafiori in the 13th minute, as I said. Arsenal completed just 9 passes in the first 10 minutes. That was their fewest since September 2022. So they didn't start well, Arsenal, but they certainly got a goal from a set piece to catapult them to what would be a victory. In terms of Victor Gyökeres, not very much for him to say on the day. Failed to attempt a single shot in the game and completed just 4 passes in 60 minutes on the field. That is the first time for Victor Gyökeres that he's failed to attempt a single shot in a game since he was at Coventry before he made that move, of course, to Portugal, to Sporting a number of years ago. And Bryan Mbeumo, who was one of the positives for Man United out of that game, attempted 5 shots in the game. That's his most in a single game since October 2023. So he was certainly trying to find the net, Bryan Mbeumo, but he just couldn't on the day. But what a game it was. I really enjoyed it. I think overall, that game, if I had to assess it from a viewership point of view, Arsenal weren't at their best. Really, their passing was poor, and even Mikel Arteta said it after the match, that their passing was poor, they weren't really on it with the ball. But what really a lot of people have analysed is, when you're not at your best, if you still win, that's a really good sign. And that is a really good sign, that Arsenal weren't at their best for a lot of yesterday, but they still found a way to win. And that's important in title races, that's important in any way of finding success. You have to be able to grind out a result no matter what to be successful. And that was the perfect example of going to Old Trafford, opening weekend of the season, big game, big pressure, big atmosphere, new refreshment from Man United, some new signings on show. Arsenal very easily could have crumbled in that game, but what they didn't. They grinded it out. They worked hard. The defence was really strong. And at times they were actually quite weak in the early moments. I was quite critical of Arsenal's defence in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the game. They were quite sloppy out of the back. They were looking really shaky. They were looking really uneasy with themselves, really nervous in moments. And I gotta say, they really stepped it up as the game went on. And when they needed to, they were called upon. They made some good blocks. And if I go back to the game, you know, looking at the stats point of view, forget about the scoreline. If you just looked at the stats, you would think, oh, that was an easy win for Man United. They had 61% possession across the game. Their XG was better than Arsenal's. They had didn't create a big chance, which is a worry for Man United. But 22 shots in the game. 22 shots. David Raya made 7 saves in the game. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. They had more passes than Arsenal, more tackles, more free kicks, certainly a lot more positive, more shots on target as well, 7 shots on target. They hit the woodwork as well, Man United, in the game. You look at all those stats alone and you think, surely Man United got something out of that game. But that shows you, as I said, grinding out a result with less than double figure shots in the game. 9 shots they had in the whole game, Arsenal, only 3 of which on target. And 5 of those shots came in the first half. All of their shots on target came in the first half. So it was a very defensive job from Arsenal in the second half. A very kind of grind this out, get the result. And I think at times, I said it last season in my predictions, I said it this season in my predictions, I think that's a concern for Arsenal. But when you're able to grind out a result, if that was a result against any other team in the league in terms of away game, barring maybe City or Chelsea or Liverpool possibly, but any mid-table to lower team, if they just grinded out a 1-0 win away from home, you would say, yeah, they got the result, but they're grinding out results in the first game of the season against a team they probably should be beating well. But the difference is, in this game, it was a big game, a tough atmosphere, a tough game away at Man United. No matter how bad Man United are, Man United away for any big team is still not an easy game. And Arsenal had to grind out a result. on the opening weekend. It's probably not perfect that they had to do that, but they did do that. They got the result, and that's what they can take from it. 3 points in the opening game away at Man United is still a big result, and they'll certainly take that. Mikel Arteta and his team will certainly take that from their first game of the new season, and it's positive that maybe that's the step forward they've taken. They've come second in the last 3 seasons. That could be the step that they've needed to take to get up and maybe win the Premier League this season. But we'll see. That was the game of the week, and we're looking forward to seeing what Arsenal have on show against Leeds next Saturday night. Right, the second half between Leeds and Everton, where it is goalless, but it's been all Leeds in that first half. We'll see what they can offer in the second half on the way next. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable! Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in, the header is in! By Virgil van Dijk! Incredible! Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Elland Road, it's 0-0 between Leeds and Everton. We talked about the game of the weekend, or the game of the week, that was the case at Old Trafford yesterday. Hope you enjoyed that little bit of analysis. That's the new segment we're going to be doing. It's not every Monday night, but every time that we have a game of the week, we'll analyse it in the next game after. And our next game of the week is going to be next Monday night, 7 days' time, where Newcastle take on Liverpool. That's next Monday. From 8. Right, we talked about our big takeaways from the opening weekend. These are my 6 big takeaways from the opening weekend, just quickly before the second half gets underway. No room for racism. That goes without saying. It's the first big takeaway of the weekend. The racial abuse that we saw against Antoine Semenyo, that was alleged abuse. Of course, it's still with the police. We still have to be very careful what we say. But the abuse that Antoine Semenyo reported from a member of the Anfield crowd on Friday night is absolutely despicable, disgusting, and has no space in the world, in football, in any space on this planet. And that person should be duly dealt with, should be banned from any football stadium ever again, and should never be allowed inside a football stadium ever again, and should be really dealt with in the legal side of things. But we'll not go any further into that. But what a response from Antoine Semenyo. Absolutely top tier character from him to score 2 goals after having that situation be dealt with. The other big talking points, Chiesa, what a moment for him. Federico Chiesa scoring the winner at Anfield after what was a torrid season for him last season with injuries, not really getting up to speed with Arne Slot's champions. But could that be a real catapult for his career to score that winning goal? We've seen it with a number of other players. Sunderland and their wonderful return to the Premier League, a 3-0 thumping of West Ham was a massive moment. It sent the fans into delirium at the Stadium of Light. I watched Match of the Day on Saturday night, and the atmosphere was out of this world, incredible. Another big talking point, Tiani Rounders. What a performance, a goal and an assist on your Manchester City Premier League debut to win 4-0 away from home. Massive performance. And it wasn't just that. His passing, his touches, his play in and out of possession, just miraculous. And I put my question down when I recorded the video earlier. Has Pep got his new Kevin De Bruyne already? Who knows? It could be the case. Palace, that whole free kick thing, crazy. That was another big takeaway, that we had a rule that we didn't even know existed, and I didn't know existed, didn't know it was even able to be punishable. And of course, Man United's new signings, Matheus Cunha, lit up the pitch. Brian and Bomo, they couldn't score. That was the only difference. But I gotta say, a good performance from those two. That's my 6 takeaways. You can watch the full video, full explanations on our YouTube Shorts or on TikTok, because we are seconds away from the second half at Elland Road getting underway. Excuse me. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. And we thank you all for staying with us, joining us this evening for this one on the Monday nights to round off our first weekend of fabulous Premier League coverage here on LFS. We thank you all for your coverage and support, or your support across the weekend. It has been fantastic. As I said, this is a draft look at what we've got coming up for next weekend. Now, I can't guarantee that all 6 of these games will be going ahead with us, but we can guarantee that at least 4 of them will. We will have the Friday night game, we will have our game of the week Monday night, and we will have the double header on Sunday. There's your guaranteed. Saturday is still under question, but very much we'll let you know during the week what comes of that. But that is the draft look at what next weekend could be like. We already had 6 matches this week. It could be exactly the same next week. I pressed the wrong button. Thank you very much for joining us. And we hope it is the case that we have 6 games next week for you to really get your teeth into it, enjoy, because what a start to the Premier League season it has been. Before we leave you tonight, we will recap all the scores, all the stuff that has happened, and we'll show you what the table looks like after all 20 teams have played. But we still have 45 minutes at least to play here at Elland Road. A big second half, I'm sure, to come. Leeds absolutely dominated the first, but haven't been able to find the net. Everton have work to do because they're still yet to register a shot, but they've got a star man on the bench in Jack Grealish, who joined from Man City on loan for the season. Could he be the key to unlocking what has been a pretty no-nonsense Leeds defence so far that have really had very little to do in their own box? But what has David Moyes conjured up at half-time to try and get his team back in this game and try and give Leeds a bit of a question to answer in this second half? Leeds kicking from right to left in the second half. Everton from left to right, of course, obviously. And our referee, Chris Kavanagh, will blow that whistle any second to get the second period underway here at Elland Road. And what has been a night so far that has gone pretty well for Leeds United. As I said, they've done everything but find the back of the net. What can they do in the next 45 minutes to try and change that? Again, 12 shots, but only one of those 12 were on target. That is something I'm sure Daniel Farke's team will try and improve in the second half, as well as certainly try and test Jordan Pickford a lot more. He looked uncomfortable at times, Jordan Pickford, in that first half, but also at the same time wasn't really tested very much in terms of shots. And so Jake O'Brien has a throw in down the right hand side here. By the way, no changes at half time, both as you were between the first and second halves. By the way, we'll just remind you what the teams are. Leeds, Perry in goal, back 4 of Bogle, Rodon, Stroik, Gudmundsson in defence as they try to come forward there. Midfield, Ampadu the captain, new signing Stack alongside Ao Tanaka, and a front 3 of Nonto, James and Peru. For Everton, Pickford in goal, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Keane and Garner in defence. Garner comes in with no left back available really or fit to start the game for Everton. Seamus Coleman is in the side. He can play left back, but he's not used to it, and he can't really play very much of this game. Irabunum and Gay on in midfield, Dewsbury Hall in the 10, Alcaraz on the right, Njai on the left, and Beto through the middle. That's the way Everton line up, and they've done well there between the lines with Iliman Njai, and now Kieran Dewsbury Hall on the breakaway. He's laid it off to Beto. Beto here with the first real opportunity. Has to reverse it back the way as Leeds got a lot of bodies into their own box there very quickly. Idrissa Gueye. Garner. Gay back to Keane, and now Tarkowski. It was good from Everton to get themselves up the field, but very good from Leeds to get back quickly. The recovery pace was very evident there, which is good to see. But from Everton, positive that they can get themselves up the field at the very least. Try the switch ball. Nice work finding out wide to O'Brien on the overlap. Trying to chip it into the middle, but thumped away by Gudmundsson. A nice stack. Flicking it over the top for Nonto to chase. He's got a real tussle with Tarkowski. And you're going to have to get someone a little bigger than Willie Nonto to beat Tarkowski. And Tarkowski has to put it out for the throw, which comes off Nonto and will be an Everton throw. But despite Willie Nonto being much, much smaller than Jim Tarkowski, he gave him a lot more of a task there than I think a lot of physical centre forwards would do in that occasion there, Wilfred Nonto. Despite Everton winning the throw, but he certainly put pressure on Tarkowski there. Did the Leeds winger as the throw in given away by Everton again, as O'Brien sends it flying that time on the recovery, and that will go bobbling all the way out to the far side, and Leeds will be able to take this throw. Gary says come on Leeds in the chat. Reese, sorry I missed your comment earlier on. When do you have the black cat? Just wondering. Well, in the intro in the Monday Night Football, it's, I think, in the middle. I'm not too sure, but it's around about the middle of the sequence. Pressure on Pickford there. That back pass was well under hit. Had to come sliding to clear that one, Jordan Pickford. Peru was in the vicinity. He wasn't quite on top of him, but he was in the vicinity. Alcaraz. I mean, James Garner just looked at it. Played it back and then just looked at it. I mean, that was really bizarre. I mean, I know he's not a left back, James Garner. I know that, but play the ball back to your keeper. At least give him a bit to work with. It's very under hit. He's lucky that Jordan Pickford got there first, because that could have been really awkward for Everton. Garner. Keane. Garner. And back to Pickford. Works it into the middle for Irabunum. Again, trying the long pass. Gives it away cheaply. Now a bit of space here for Leeds. Here's Willie Nonto, who tried to scoop the shot, and it was nicely caught by Jordan Pickford. But again, Everton, risky pass in a space they do not and should not take a risk like that. It's a poor ball by Irabunum. Gives it away cheaply. The Leeds midfield have been lapping that up all night, and they do it again, playing into Leeds' hands again, Everton, and they're lucky once more that shot isn't better from Wilfred Nonto. Otherwise they really could have been in bother there. They're certainly right in their luck here at the minute, Everton. Leeds need to be a little bit more clinical. Just need to be more clinical, yeah, but a bit more cutting edge from Leeds. That's nice work there from Dewsbury Hall, and Alcaraz tries to work it through the lines, blocked. He's still got the ball. Can keep you up, he's there. On the edge of the box, wanted a foul. He's not going to get it as Gudmundsson brings it back to his keeper, Perry. Again, good work from Dewsbury Hall finding Alcaraz, but again, couldn't quite find it. Couldn't quite find it. Long ball forward again. Headed out this time by Tarkowski. David Moyes. Eyes of real terror there from David Moyes. I do not want to be on the end of that conversation. Certainly not. Whatever one of his players he was gawking at there, it was not a player that I'm sure would have been receiving it happily. Ball over the top here from Leeds. Pressure on Garner, and Pickford is arriving, which takes control of the situation. Well, so far in the second half, it's been all Everton possession, but you've got to be honest, really nothing's been created so far. It's been a battle for possession rather than anything else. Again, that through ball towards Beto was well cut out by Rodon. They're progressing the ball in areas that they weren't in the first half, Everton, so they've tweaked something, and they've had a lot more of the ball. That's a lovely little flick there down the right, and now Leeds are in here. Bogle, so all right on the back of him is Njai, as is Garner, and Njai just about let him a little bit of too much space there, and he tried to poke it through Bogle, but no one in the white of Leeds was there to receive it, just Jordan Pickford. Here's Alcaraz, picking up the ball a little deeper. Nice toe in there from Rodon again, nicking it in front of Beto. His hold-up play has been non-existent in the first in this game so far. Everton just trying little reverse passes. They just look like they don't know how to play football with some of their moves so far. Everton, they're really off it, forcing a lot of things when they don't need to, and not getting involved in things they should be, in terms of cutting out Leeds passes as they latch upon a loose Leeds pass there by Michael Keane. Here is Tarkowski, pumping it over the top. Beto was there, but came for it was Perry, and he punched it only as far as Iliman Ndiaye down that left-hand side. He's picked it up well. He's got many a Leeds shirt in front of him, but he's trying to dribble his way through. He cuts it back here for Irabunum, who flashes, who flashes a shot well over the bar. Yeah, see it here. Iliman Ndiaye cuts it back. Does really well in the tight space to work into the box. Cuts it back. Gets a little bit of deflection. Falls for Idrissa Gueye, who absolutely wellies one. But he wellies it well over the bar. Again, there are some positives in this second half from Everton. That was their first registered shot of the night, by the way. Coming in the 54th minute. There is more positivity about Everton. They're progressing the ball up the pitch a lot more consistently and getting into better areas. Although Leeds have a good brick on here down the right. Dan James off the right-hand flank. Cuts back inside. He's got bodies in the box. He tries to find one of them. Here's a nice one from Nonto, who on the half-turn hits it off the side netting. Wants a corner. I don't think he's going to get one that time. Dan James does well. Lays it off here. Nonto gets back on side. He finds the man. And Nonto on the half-turn fires a shot with his right foot towards goal. And he fires it wide. He felt there was a touch from Tarkowski, but the officials didn't see one. And I didn't quite see one there either. So a goal kick will come, but a little bit of more of a glimpse there from Leeds. In and around the Everton box. A little bit better, but once more not testing Jordan Pickford as probably they should be, or as much or as well as they should be in those areas. Well, could both benches come into changing this game? O'Brien over the top, Beto winning the header, and that header won back by Ampadu to his keeper in Perry again. But there's some players off the bench, you know, Sean Longstaff for Leeds, who's some good Premier League experience. Gruev, who looked bright the last time he was in the Premier League last season with Leeds in the midfield, progressing the ball nicely. So he's a good midfielder. Aronson, who's done well. Ramazani, who looked a bright spark last season, and Jack Harrison, who has Premier League experience, actually played in Everton's team last season on loan. As they progress the ball well here with Dan James down the right, works it back to Dan James, does Bogle, and James wins a corner. Although Ampadu's gone down here, he's rolling about, not happy. It's going to be a free kick, or going to be a yellow card, certainly. The referee played advantage for that late challenge that was committed by Tim Irabunum. Yeah, he's late there, Tim Irabunum. It's a late challenge. It's definitely a yellow. Nothing more, but it is a yellow card nonetheless. It's definitely a foul. Referee did well, though, to allow the play to continue and give Leeds the advantage, because they've got a corner out of it, and then retrospectively hands out the yellow card to Tim Irabunum for that late challenge. So corner to Leeds. This will be corner number 7 of the game. They had 5 inside the first 14 minutes of the game or something like that, as Ampadu is still in pain on the ground here. So this is not a good sign for the Leeds captain. We'll see how he does. Daniel Farker maybe might have to look to his bench, but this is something Leeds do not want to see. After what has been such a positive night so far, They do not want to see their captain have to come off here. Although I think they might just see this to be the case. And he doesn't look in a good way, Ethan Ampadu, at the minute. He seems to be in a really, really bad way here. He does not look happy. And he looks in real pain. He knows himself that something badly has gone wrong here. And whether he's able to get back to his feet or not in a minute, we'll see. But it's his right leg, something about his right leg. Whether it's his knee or his right shin or something on that area of his body that is an issue. And Daniel Farker, I think, maybe going to make that change with Ilya Gruyev in a minute, who was the one that was called back from warming up. But he is on his feet, which is good to see from Ethan Ampadu. Can he walk on it? That will be the big question. It's definitely his right shin. He is able to stand, and he is limping a little bit, but he is able to walk on it, which is a very, very good sign. Whether he's able to continue, I don't think they'll take that risk or not, but he is up and he is walking, Ethan Ampadu, which is a very, very good sign. He's actually even able to jog, so that's a good sign. Because it could have been very worrying there a moment or two ago if he wasn't able to do that, but he is. And I think he might just be able to stay on here, maybe. I think they're going to try it, Leeds. It will be a corner. There will be a man down for the moment. At least 30 seconds. Daniel Farker's not happy with it, but that's the rules. You have to be off for at least 30 seconds after receiving treatment. That's the rule. I don't like it myself, but Leeds are down to 10 for the moment. They have a corner, right-hand side. Right-footed, whipped in. Up in the air. It's flicked on by an Everton player at the near post. It's not away. They're trying to scramble it away. Stroik does well. Recycles it back to Nonto. Nonto works it back out to Bogle on the right-hand side here. I think Leeds might just receive a bit of possession until Ethan Ampadu is waved back on by the referee. Nonto. Tight space, and is just going to reverse it back to Stroik. And there's a welcome return to Ethan Ampadu, who's on the ball now. Gudmundsson. Ampadu, who got a round of applause and returning to the field from the crowd here. His impact very much appreciated and felt by the Elland Road crowd. They know what Ethan Ampadu means to them. They know how much importance he holds in this team. The real leader of this Leeds United side. Ampadu stepping in there on Gay, trying to win the ball. Didn't quite win at that time as Irabunum breaking down the left here against Bogle. Trying to help out there defensively, and Irabunum did progress well, but as he entered the box again, Leeds over Archam and get it out of the way and clear it long. 60 minutes gone, 0-0. Leeds have had just one shot in the second half. Both sides have had just the singular shot in the second half, so it's not been quite the one-way traffic that we had in the first half, but Everton showing more kind of energy going forward a little bit. They've actually had more possession in the second half so far. 57% of the ball, Everton, compared to the 61% Leeds. Sorry, 62% Leeds had in the first half. Here's Jake O'Brien down the right. Seen how to play by Willie Nonto, who was tracking back. Be an Everton throw on that right-hand side. Jack Grealish warming up on the sidelines here. Amongst the number of players, but he's the one I'm sure that a lot are watching. The Everton crowd there, right behind Jake O'Brien as he takes this throw in. The travelling Everton fans. O'Brien's ball in. Up and away at the near post. Irabunum battling. Winning his header. And that will just be recycled back by James Garner. All the way back to Pickford in the Everton goal. Well, Leeds have failed to win their last 9 games as a top flight team. Drawing 2 and losing 7 of those games and conceding 29 goals in those 9 games. That's averaging more than 3 per game. That's a little bit of a late challenge there by Ao Tanaka. It's going to be a yellow card for him. Or actually, it's going to be a yellow card for Carlos Alcaraz, apologies, for asking for a yellow card. I mean, really? It's his first bad foul. It's his first little bit of a late foul of the night. That's definitely not a yellow card. I would have said that would have been harsh if it was given. And Carlos Alcaraz does get a yellow for asking for a yellow for Ao Tanaka, and that's a unnecessary booking for him. But he does get one. I think that's an automatic booking now, per the rules, that if you try and gesture to a yellow card or a card to a referee or try and influence that to a referee, it's a straight yellow card. Don't know if it's for dissent. I'll know in a moment. But a free kick for Everton here, about 32 yards, 33 yards out. Looks like it's Garner that's over it. Bodies forward for Everton. Let's see how Leeds defend this set piece. Long range effort. It's took a deflection. Will be a corner. Yeah, it hit one of the Leeds players right on the edge of the box, and it's going to be a corner. And that is Everton's first corner of the night. A lot of firsts in this second half. First shot, first corner. And Leeds are readying some subs as well here, so that could be something that Daniel Farke's picked up on, that his team have swayed a little bit. A corner here, right hand side for the Toffees. Ball lifted in, up and away in the middle there by Stack, I believe that one was. Worked back out to Dewsbury Hall on the right side. He's going to go left footed, whip it in. Controlled but cleared away once again by Leeds United up the field. Garner trying to recycle and receive, and brought down well by Iliman Njai. Steps infield into a crowded space, but he has the ball for the moment. Surrounded by Leeds players, and he's trying to break through them all at the minute, and Ampadu does well, holds him off, and the ball won back by Jayden Bogle. Switches it out to the right, the left side, but too much from Bogle there. Lost their rhythm a little bit, Leeds. And looks like Brendan Aronson, I think, is the one that is looking to come on. Number 11 it is for Leeds on the sideline there. I don't know if he's the only one that's going to be coming on in a moment or not for Leeds, but he's certainly ready to enter the fray in a moment. And Everton on a good move here. Alcaraz down the right side. O'Brien on the overlap. Chips it into the box. Beto was the target, but it was too close again to the Leeds keeper, Lucas Perry, who tries to send one flying through. That's a good block there by King. It was Peru that was charging through the middle, and Michael Keane did well to step in and block it. Tarkovsky switching to Garner. Takes it on his chest, gets past Dan James, plays it inside to Iliman Njai. Better movement from Everton in the second half. Irabunam, Idris Gueye now. Out wide to the left is Garner. Back to Tim Irabunam. Getting into the Leeds half much more effectively, Everton. Still struggling to find a way through into the Leeds box. They've had 3 touches in the Leeds box in the second half. That's more than they had in the whole of the first half. Leeds have had just 2 touches in Everton's box this half. And that long switch ball is overhit. Goal kick. And that's going to see Leeds trigger a substitution then. It's going to see the number 29, Wilfred Nonto. He's coming off. And he's going to be replaced by the number 11, Brendan Aronson. So a little bit of a switch here from Leeds, I suspect. Maybe they could go... trying to figure it out myself, actually. Maybe a 4-2-3-1. Possibly. Or it could just be a continuation of the 4-3-3, but there's maybe a hint of a change here with an attacking midfielder rather than an out-and-out winger in Brendan Aronson. We'll see how they work it out in a moment. Yeah, Tanaka could go further forward in that 4-2-3-1, really. 4-2-2. We'll see. we'll see what way Leeds work it out. But one thing for Everton, Jack Grealish is getting himself ready on the sideline, so he'll enter the fray very shortly as we enter the final quarter of this game. Leeds 0, Everton 0, 67 minutes gone at Elland Road. It's Leeds that have by far had the better of the action tonight, but again, not really tested Jordan Pickford enough. Just the one shot on target from both teams up to this stage. It has not been a goal fest. It's not been a shot fest either. Certainly not in the second half. Here's Lucas Perry. Yet to really face an Everton shot so far, because the only shot that they've taken Everton has been one that was flown over the bar by Idrissa Gueye. Yet to be tested at all. The Leeds keeper is back with Pickford. He sends it long. Well won by Ampadu. Goodmanson works it down the left. Aronson battling and tussling. And fouled there by James Tarkowski. Gets a free kick for Leeds, which they have no hesitation to take. Ampadu. Stack. Strike trying to loft it down the left channel. One for Goodmanson to chase, but O'Brien should have it covered. And does so, but he plays it forward actually. Thought he was going to let that roll for a goal kick, but he decided to play it forward. And in the end, that long ball from Everton again. Just received by Leeds as Jayden Bogle. And they recycle it back into possession. Tanaka. Ampadu. Tanaka. Out wide it goes to Jayden Bogle. Dan James. Battling. James Garner down the right side. Lays it off to Bogle, who gone on the overlap, and now the ball down the right hand side again. As a player brought down there, I think it's Dan James. He wanted a foul. There's two players down, one from each team on that side, but Chris Kavanagh says play on, and it goes out for a throw in. It's James Garner and Dan James that have both ended up on the ground here. They both kind of collided. Yeah, Dan James with a little back heel, and then Garner tries to go for the ball. He's late. Dan James then gets taken out. I think that is a foul. And they end up both on the ground after that. The referee didn't think it was a foul. They should be okay, the two of them. I think James Garner a little bit lucky there. A little bit fortunate not to have given a foul against him, because he was late. The ball was well gone. As a change incoming here for Everton then. It's going to see Tim Irabunum coming off. Applauded by the Everton crowd. And coming on is Jack Grealish. He's not the most popular in these parts in Yorkshire. He is going to be very popular with those travelling Evertonians here tonight if he can try and make an impact on his team. On his Premier League debut for the club. He had that big money move to Manchester City a number of years ago from Aston Villa, £100 million. He's come on this loan spell to Everton after what has been not the most prolific career at Man City so far. He hasn't really been able to stamp his authority on a starting position in Pep Guardiola's side, and he's come to Everton to try and reignite what we know so well out of Jack Grealish and how well he can play football. Stack does well there for Leeds. Again, they're chasing the ball though. Everton thump it away. Trying that long direct ball all night, Everton, and it's not really worked. Leeds work it well here, and there's a little overhit by Stack, and Goodmanson couldn't keep it in play there. Just slightly too much. We'll see what way Everton adjust, because they brought off Tim Irabunum, who was playing alongside Idrissa Gueye in the midfield, and he's been swapped out for Jack Grealish, who's going to get higher, so an extra attacker on the field for Everton. So it'll be interesting to see what way they're going to try and fit all these players in the team and what way they're going to try and work it. They're maybe going to try and, at times, maybe push James Garner further infield a little bit maybe, but At the moment, Idrissa Gueye's out there on his own in the centre of the field. Pickford. Ball played down the left-hand side here. Iliman Njai lays it off to Grealish. Dewsbury Hall gives it back to King. Now Tarkowski. Has to reverse it back. Tarkowski, he worked up the field a little bit, but had to reverse it back to his centre-back partner. He now finds Idrissa Gueye. Carlos Alcaraz has dropped a little deeper from where he was to kind of just help out with the workload of Idrissa Gueye in that midfield. Here is Grealish. Down the left. Back to Idrissa Gueye. Tarkowski. 17 minutes to go. Leeds United 0, Everton 0 here at Elland Road. Pickford pinging it out to O'Brien on the right side, who gets his header up the line, but he couldn't keep it in the bounds of the fields. And it will be a Leeds United throw. I think a lot of Everton's play tonight has been really hit and hope. I mean, it's been really lacklustre. They've had 2 shots all night, none of them on target. It's just been really negative from Everton, and I know bringing on Jack Grealish will try and change that for the latter stages, but it's been really negative all over the field all night. Even when they had at the start of the second half, when they were progressing the ball well, they weren't getting it anywhere near the Leeds box at all. A lovely little through ball here by Leeds. Here's Anton Stack, and he lays it off well. First time ball took a bobble and a bounce, and it went back from Ayo Tanaka trying to find it through to Brendan Aronson. It bounces back to Jordan Pickford. Nice header won by Rodon, flicked on by Ampadu, around the corner again, just forcing a little bit there Leeds with Dan James and Ayo Tanaka. That allows Everton back onto the ball. Tarkowski down the right hand side is O'Brien. No shots on target in the second half of this game. And the possession has evened out over the half. There's been a lack of quality in the final third for both teams in the second half. Leeds, who had such a great first half, have kind of just tailed off, and Everton really haven't upped their game. They've actually just, with Leeds dropping off a little bit, just levelled it out rather than anything else. Well, they have a free kick here on the right hand side, Everton. Kieran Dewsbury Hall is the one that's going to be over it. I don't think they're going to work it into the box, are they? They might just do now as they're moving some players up the field, including their 2 centre-backs, Michael Keane and James Tarkowski's up there. Who can Kieran Dewsbury Hall pick out from this set piece? What can they deliver, Everton? Dewsbury Hall goes round the near post, hits the first Leeds man there in their own edge of their own box, but he works off Aronson to win it back, Dewsbury Hall. And he spins him like a bottle top. Dewsbury Hall turning and twisting, finding it through to Alcaraz here in the box. Alcaraz has a go. Good save by Perry at the near post. That's their first real glimpse of the Leeds goal all night. That's their first shot on target all night. And it's come in the 76th minute for Everton. Really good work by Dewsbury Hall. Good individual skill to spin his way into space. Plays it across to Alcaraz in a pocket there in the box, and he gets a shot off at Lucas Perry. He makes his first Premier League save for Leeds United. Corner for Leeds to defend now. Right hand side. Lots of bodies flooding that 6-yard box. Left footed delivery, it's up in the air. It's flicked on. Oh, and it's flicked over the bar by Jake O'Brien. He got ahead to it there. Good delivery by Dewsbury Hall. It's kind of dipping as it arrives into the box, and just glanced by O'Brien, but glanced over the bar. It's a good opportunity. And just with this, Leeds are going to make a triple change. So they made already one change, Brendan Aronson on for Willie Nunter. They're going to make a triple one now. It's going to see Ilya Gruyev coming on. Joel Pirou's coming off. He's going to be replaced by Lucas Nemeka, the German. Also coming on is going to be Ilya Gruyev. I think he's going to replace Ethan Ampadu. And the third change is going to see Dan James coming off, and he's going to be replaced by Jack Harrison. So the triple change for Leeds is seeing Gruyev, Harrison and Nemeka on, all replacing Joel Piroux, Dan James and Ethan Ampadu. So the front three of Leeds has been completely changed from the starting and their midfielding captain as well, going off in Ethan Ampadu. So some fresh legs for Leeds for the final 12.5 minutes of normal time to try and get them over the line and maybe try and snatch something off Everton late here. On kick by the keeper, Perry. Gruyev with a flick-on header, but it didn't get very far and then had to be a bit of defending. And Pascal Struijk did that bit of defending well. Perry plays it out to Rodon. Tanaka reverses it round the corner. Back to Struijk. Gruyev. Nice little work. Leeds certainly left it late last season. 25 goals in the last 15 minutes of games last season in the Championship. Can they use that quality and mentality of scoring late goals in the Championship? Can that convert to the Premier League? We will see. As Everton in possession there, trying to play it backwards. Very sloppy, giving it away. Tanaka. As Leeds try and take the throw in quickly. Everton getting bodies behind the ball. Ilya Gruyev. Alright, Pascal Struijk. Space out in the left here for Gudmundsson. Takes a first touch. Goes inside to Gruyev. Back to Gudmundsson again. Down the line it goes to Harrison. And back to Gudmundsson at the byline. Who works it back across the box. It's taken down by Aronson. He couldn't get real much control of it. The Stack heads it in. Finding Aronson, who flicks it on. And a shot from Tanaka, who couldn't keep it down. That's the best moment Leeds have created in the second half. And it was good work from Anton Stack. He won the header outside the box. He flicked it on to Aronson, who poked it just past the Everton player to Tanaka on the edge of the box, who waits for it to bounce, takes it on the volley, and then just couldn't keep it below the crossbar. It sent sailing over by Ayo Tanaka, but that was the best chance Leeds have created in the second half, without a shadow of a doubt. And they couldn't keep it down. Just over 10 minutes to go now. Beto quite unorthodox there with his hold-up play, but he made it work. Here's Tarkowski. Drifting forward, lays it out wide to O'Brien. O'Brien inside, Dewsbury Hall well challenged. All over the back of him. Leeds come away with a possession, although they poke it and give it away again. This time to Idrissa Gueye. 10 minutes to go. Some stats to get through as well. I want to get some stats delivered to you as Everton try the cross low. Cleared away by Leeds, not fully cleared though. Alcaraz has to go back to Tarkowski before they go forward to Dewsbury Hall. Out wide is O'Brien as the Everton crowd on that right side try to give them some motivation to get forward. Is Iliman Ndiaye does well to break through. Felt he was fouled. The referee said no. And as Leeds try and clear it, they give it away again. Good spell here from Everton. As Keane has to go back the way to Pickford once more. Oh, a slip there. Gives it away cheaply. Here's going to be a chance. It's going to be Nemecha. Blocked. Good block there by Tarkowski. Here Leeds again. Here's Harrison. Gets it across. Deflection. Edge of the box. Here's Anton Stack told to shoot by the crowd. He does shoot. Deflection. Handball. It goes wide. The referee hasn't pointed to the spot. Gruyev appealing, and it's a penalty to Leeds United. He was waiting for the call from his assistant, Chris Kavanagh. Leeds were adamant. The crowd were adamant. They would be. But Anton Stack shot deflects, and it's come off the arm of Tarkowski. It's down by his side. That's harsh. Is the arm moving out towards the ball? He's leaning towards it. He leans down to his left. His arm's by his side, but he leans. Does that affect it? It does hit his arm, but his arm's by his side, and he leans to his left to deflect it. Is that handball or more ball to hands? Well, they've given it. penalty's been given. Whether VAR decides to feel that the referee should have a second go, we'll find out. But the decision has been given as a penalty on the field. But I believe the VAR, John Brooks, is going to have a go and have a look at this to see. I gotta say, I don't like it when it's down by their arm, down by their side, their arm. But he does lean towards the ball and uses his arm to deflect it. Therefore, his arm is directly involved in affecting the play. Is that a penalty? It's given on the field. Let's see. Chris Kavanagh waited for his assistant, clearly, before he made the decision. He did point to the spot. And now John Brooks, the VAR, was checking it, and the decision is going to stand. It is a penalty to Leeds United. And this is probably the biggest moment of the night. Undoubtedly the biggest moment of the night. Leeds United, who've had one shot on target of their 17 shots, and their substitute centre forward, Lucas Nemecha, is on mere minutes, as Jordan Pickford has a sneaky glance at the penalties graphic and sheet on his water bottle there. And now Lucas Nemecha sets the ball down. Those Leeds fans wait in anticipation behind the goal. They want to be bouncing in seconds' time. It's Lucas Nemecha against Jordan Pickford. In the 84th minute, this could be completely important. Nemecha finds the corner. And Leeds United take the lead from the penalty spots. Their super sub, Lucas Nemecha, has given Leeds United the opener. It is taken to the 85th minute, but the opener does come. And Lucas Nemecha, their new signing on his Premier League debut for the club, has found the net from the penalty spot. And Everton have work to do. Leeds United 1, Everton 0. What a penalty. Pickford goes the right way, dives to his left, but the quality in that penalty, it is right into the corner. It's as into the corner as you can possibly ever get it from Lucas Nemecha. Fabulous little strike. There will be questions over whether the penalty should have been given. I think he uses his arm, Tarkowski, to lean in to deflect the ball wide, albeit by his side, but his arm is directly used to affect the passage of the ball and the flight of the ball, and that's why it was given. Leeds United 1, Everton 0. And breathe. And breathe. Their first shot on target of the second half has ended into the back of the net for Leeds. And that's wonderful from Ayo Tanaka to win a foul off Jake O'Brien there. And their ability to score late goals has been once again reignited this season. They were the best at it in the Championship last season, and their first goal in the Premier League has repeated that same trend of late goals from Leeds United. Lucas Nemecha's penalty. As Everton have made it, another substitution here, by the way. They've only made one sub, Timmy Rabunum replaced by Jack Grealish, but they've made another one. I saw Carlos Alcaraz come off. I couldn't quite see who come on for him, but I'll tell you that in a moment. As Leeds send the ball long, it's gone straight out of play there. 4 minutes of normal time, plus any additional time for this game to go. Can Everton respond to what Leeds have put on them so late in this game? Such a crucial moment. A monumental moment. Tarkowski now. Thumping it up the field. I think he was taken out as he did pump it up the field, but the referee saw no issue. Dewsbury Hall knocked off the ball, but too much there from Anton Stack. And that's going to be a free kick to Everton. Harley says 2-1 Leeds United. Well, it's 1-0 to Leeds at the minute. Jack Grealish Winning a free kick there for Everton. He loves to pick up a good free kick there, Jack Grealish. It's like he drags players to him to foul him. I don't know how he does it, but he does. Free kick to Everton in a good area here. Set pieces were a strong point of Everton last season. Can they use it to their advantage here tonight to rescue themselves at Elland Road? A free kick, left-hand side, Dewsbury Hall over it. Bodies in the box, 6 or 7 of them. Ball's worked its way around the area. Still not away. It's Grealish who pops it into the air. It's flicked on and away by Leeds United just about. Iliman Njai. Idrissa Gueye whips the ball in. That's a lovely cross. It's bobbled around. The flick-on header is onto the roof of the net by Tarkowski and over the top. That was a good opportunity. Part of their best moment of the game, really, from Everton. Gotta say, they're leaving it late, these two teams, and the flick-on header actually, whether it's an Everton player, it's Idrissa Gueye's cross. It comes in, and it's Beto, I think, that gets something on it past the Leeds player, and it falls for Tarkowski, who can't really get his balance right, can't head it right, and he just loops it over the crossbar onto the roof of the net for a goal kick. Oh, not a happy chappy on the sideline there, David Moyes. Face like thunder. And I'm sure he will be furious with his team come the final whistle. But we're not going to try and jinx it just yet. I certainly do not want to be a jinx against any team. There's a man who is, I'm sure, on the edge of his seat. Parag Maratha, the Leeds chairman. What will he be thinking? What will he be feeling? He said it was all about winning. He doesn't like losing. He's in it to win it in sport. Tanaka, it wasn't orthodox that pass, and it wasn't orthodox the other pass, but they've given it away here, Leeds, with Brennan Aronson. Don't want to be giving up cheap possession late here, Leeds, but here's Jack Grealish. Crosses the halfway line. Flicks it round the corner. Battling around our Leeds, and they win the ball nicely. There, Nemecha, Tanaka lays it off, and with Everton committing bodies, there's a run in behind here for Harrison to make against his former team. Harrison works it across the box. Away it goes. Falls to Tanaka, told to shoot by the crowd. He's just going to keep it for the moment. Lays it out wide to Harrison. He's trying to maybe push for a second here. Tanaka, not by too much. Harrison, not in a hurry here. 7 additional minutes. And here they come again. Gudmundsson works inside. It's Stack going to have a go. Good save by Pickford. Another shot from Bogle on the rebound. Blocked and out wide for a throw-in on the far side. That was a good strike by Anton Stack. Good delivery, or good cutback by Gudmundsson. And Stack, pile driving effort with his right foot there. Bullet of an effort, and it's a good parry by Jordan Pickford. Some pace on that. It's a good save by Pickford. As we're into 7 minutes of additional time. Well, Daniel Farker has won just 6 of his previous 49 Premier League games as a manager. And even if Leeds beat Everton tonight, Daniel Farker would still hold the record for the lowest win rate of any manager to oversee 50 or more Premier League games. Before tonight, his win rate was 12.2%. It wouldn't massively increase. It will be just over 14% if he wins tonight's game. They're tussling and battling every moment, Leeds, and they win it high up the field here again. Tanaka has got a little bit of luck with the bounce of a ball. It's gone through. The flick is over the top by Anton Stack, who's in there again. Again, they win it high up. There's 4 up the field for Leeds. They get the bounce of the ball through the lines there from Tanaka's ball, and it's gone out wide. It's flicked across, and it's poked over the top by Anton Stack. They couldn't keep it down on that occasion. He's worked well, that midfielder Anton Stack, for Leeds. He has, you gotta say. And they're going to make another change here in a moment. Sean Longstaff might just come on to add a little bit of solidity in that midfield late here for Leeds, just to try and get them over the line. 5 of the 7 additional minutes still to be played here at Elland Road. Leeds leading by a goal to nil. Lucas Nemetja's penalty in the 84th minute has Leeds in front for the moment. Nemetja does well to lay it off here. Stack's got the ball. He's not in a mad hurry to get forward, but he lays it out wide to Harrison. If Leeds can get a second goal, it surely would be game done and dusted. They don't want to push too far forward and leave themselves exposed. Here's Tanaka down the left-hand side. He's breaking into the box. Good challenge, good battle there by Idrissa Gueye, who wins the ball for Everton right on the edge of his box there. And that's a fabulous little challenge from Tanaka, just to deny the ball forward from Everton again there. They have worked incredibly hard tonight, Leeds United. So incredibly hard. Idrissa Gueye did well there on the ground to win the ball. And they're going to make this change now, Leeds. And that man, Ayo Tanaka, who has worked his absolute socks off tonight. He's going to be replaced by Sean Longstaff, the Japanese international. What a player, what a performance. He performed so well in the Championship last season for Leeds, and what a Premier League debut for him tonight. Massive. And Sean Longstaff on his place, who has vast experience in the Premier League with Newcastle over the years. Dewsbury Hall. Keane across to Tarkowski. Half of the additional time remains, 3.5 minutes to be exact. Everton know the time is against them. They need to move the ball quicker. They need to get forward and need to test Leeds defensively here. Here's Idrissa Gueye. Back to Keane. Sorry, Tarkowski now to Keane. Through the lines it goes. Up and away by Leeds. Falls to Garner down the left-hand side here. He's got Grealish on the ball. Rolls it back to Garner. Nice reverse pass by Dewsbury Hall. Now Jack Grealish. Lays it off to Garner now. They're moving it nicely. Garner with a lifted ball into the box. Up in the air and away by Leeds. And Stack just to take it down and control it. But he's given it away a little cheaply there. And as he tries to win it back, he hasn't won a throw-in. Everton have won the throw. Still some more stats to get down. I should have been saying the stats in the second half. I didn't get a chance. I was talking a lot. I was quite enjoying watching the game. Grealish with the ball. A little bit hopeful. And away by Leeds again. Bogle trying to thump it away. Only as far as Garner, who heads it forward, and Dewsbury Hall gets it across, and it's bouncing around and away again by Leeds. Rodon goes down in the box, and that's going to be a free kick, is it, against Beto? I think just about. Right, I'll fire off some stats at you, because I don't want to use my work to bad use. Everton manager David Moyes has a great record against Leeds. He won 7, drawn 2 and lost just 1 of his 10 games against them. Offsides, he's faced more than 10 times, or 10 times or more, in his career. He's only got a better success rate against Sunderland, David Moyes, 71%, than he does against Leeds. A 70% win rate against Leeds in his career, David Moyes. The managers have only faced once in their careers. West Ham 4-0 winners against Norwich back in 2019-20, a joint biggest winning margin in an away game as a manager for David Moyes. And Everton have suffered defeat in their opening game of each of the last 3 seasons after going unbeaten on matchday 1 in the previous 10 seasons. So could it be 4 in a row in terms of defeats in the opening game of the season for the Toffees tonight? Leeds have been involved in 39 goals in their last 8 opening day encounters, scoring 20 and conceding 19 before this game, by the way. And in terms of head-to-heads, as Leeds battling up the front here with Nemetja, who holds up well against Keane. They work it down the right here, Leeds. They might still want to get forward. Nemetja, challenged late there by Michael Keane. And that's going to be a free kick to Leeds. They're working incredibly hard to keep this last minute of the 97. Well, in terms of recent head-to-heads, Everton have gone unbeaten in the last 5 trips to Elland Road, winning 2 and drawing 3. That might come to an end tonight. That is their joint longest active unbeaten run away to any of the other top-flight teams. 5 including Brighton and Nottingham Forest. That could be losing tonight, that record away at Leeds. And Leeds have only won just once in their previous 11 Premier League meetings against Everton, drawing 4 and losing 6. But could this be a turn up for the books on the opening weekend of the season? Leeds have a free kick. The 7 minutes are up. It's Nemecha at the corner flag. He's got Tarkovsky. And it's going to be a Leeds throw. How long of the 7 is the referee going to add on to? Daniel Farker says there's no more time. He's holding his hands in the air, says, blow the whistle, ref. The crowd want it too. They're whistling, telling the ref what he should be doing. As Everton win a goal kick. How long is there left in this game? Surely there's not much. Surely not. Pickford sends it flying, but that's the last moment of the game. And what a result for newly promoted Leeds United. They join fellow newly promoted side Sunderland in claiming massive opening weekend victories in their first home games of the new season. Wow, what a result for Leeds United. Lucas Nemecha's penalty is the difference on the night. There will be questions over whether it was a penalty in any case, but the decision was given. It was ratified by VAR. David Moyes and his players can complain, but overall they were really poor on the night. Leeds or Everton, sorry, they were really lacklustre. They offered very little in the game. They had a first shot on target in the 76th minute. They can only really blame themselves for their lack of attacking output tonight. But Leeds United, who were cracking in the first half, they struggled a little bit in the second. But I said about grinding out results. I said about how Arsenal ground out a result against Man United away. Well, if you've ever grounded out a result, that was what Leeds did tonight. And that shows incredible quality for the new season. Incredible character, incredible from Leeds United. Back in the Premier League, back in the big time. And they're back battling with the big boys again. And Daniel Farker, 7 wins in 50 Premier League games, but 1 of 1 as Leeds United manager. They head to Arsenal next week, and they will be flying high as a kite. But it doesn't matter tonight about the next game. 3 points out of a possible 3 for Leeds United. That is the start a newly promoted side wants. They joined Sunderland as well on that. Unfortunately, Burnley couldn't follow suit. But 3 points, a clean sheet for 2 of the 3 promoted sides. People laughed when we said that newly promoted sides could stay up. It's only 1 game, there's still 37 to go. But if this is one thing to take for the future and for this season, it took until October for any of the newly promoted sides last season to get a win. Well, 2 of them have done it at the very first time of asking this season. I think we're on for a different battle this time round. Final score from our final game of the opening weekend of the Premier League season. It is finished at Elland Road. Leeds United 1, Everton 0. And there is your classified results of the opening weekend. What an opening weekend we have witnessed. Smiles galore around Elland Road and smiles from the chairman there in the stands. Their players really picking up where they left off. They ended the championship season with 6 consecutive wins. Well, they've started the Premier League season in the same vein. And they love to score late goals. 84th minute, they got their winner. That's Leeds United down to a T. Everton were practically non-existent tonight. They didn't deserve anything, if I'm honest. But that's sometimes not what you get in Premier League football. It's harsh at times. But tonight, Leeds United got what they deserved, and that was all 3 points. Right. Let's recap the weekend then for you before we leave you tonight. Liverpool, 4-2 winners against Bournemouth on Friday night. That's where it started. It seems like a lifetime ago that was the game we were watching to start the new season. Liverpool cruising to a 2-goal lead. Ugo Ekitike and Cody Gakpo with their first 2 goals of the season. But Antoine Semenyo got 2 back for Bournemouth to level the game. It was Federico Chiesa in the 80th minute that scored the winner before Mo Salah added his 10th opening weekend goal of his career in the Premier League, the most of any player in Premier League history, in the 94th minute to make it 4-2 and the champions off with a win. It was a 0-0 draw at Villa Park at lunchtime on Saturday, but Villa were down to 10 for the vast majority of that second half when Ezri Konsa was shown red by the referee. Newcastle couldn't take advantage, but a point apiece there. It was a point apiece there at the Amex between Brighton and Fulham in the end. Brighton took the lead through a Matt O'Reilly penalty at the start of the second half, but it was a 96th minute equaliser from Rodrigo Muniz that rescued a point for Fulham. What a start and what a return after 8 years for Sunderland to the Premier League. A thumping victory over West Ham. All 3 goals coming in the second half. Eliza Mayenda, Dan Ballard and Wilson Isidore scored all 3 goals as Sunderland and Regis Labrice got off to the perfect start there at the Stadium of Light. It was a 3-0 victory for Tottenham against Burnley as newly promoted Burnley came to the Prem. And Richarlison scored the opener. He scored the second. Quite a good goal to that as well. And Brennan Johnson added a third for Thomas Frank in his first game as Tottenham manager in the Premier League. It was all easy pickings for Man City against Wolves. 4-0 victors on that one. Erling Haaland, Tiani Reinders, Haaland again, and Ryan Cherky the scorers on their trip to Molineux. That wrapped up Saturday's action. On Sunday, it was a goalless draw in the London derby at Stamford Bridge, but it wasn't without controversy. After a free kick from Iberrieza was disallowed for a technicality in the rules. That their player, Mark Guehi, was within a metre of the Chelsea wall, therefore the goal had to be disallowed. Chelsea came away with a draw out of that one after they failed to find a way past Palace. It was a good start to the season for Nuno Espirito Santo after he pre-warned Nottingham Forest fans that they weren't where they should be. Well, his team showed him another display in the first half. 3 goals in the first half for Nottingham Forest. What a start to their campaign. Chris Wood, who scored 20 goals for them in the Premier League last season, he got 2 in the first half, either side of a Dan and Doy goal to make it 3-0 to Forest at half-time. And Keith Andrews got his first goal as Brentford boss with Igor Thiago from the penalty spot, getting a consolation for the Bees at the City Ground. And yesterday, our game of the week, Man United against Arsenal, finished Arsenal 1, Man United 0. The only goal of that game scored by Ricardo Calafiore. And tonight on the Monday Night Football, it is finished Leeds United 1, Everton 0, and that goal from Lucas Nemecha to seal the deal for Leeds. Right, let's have a quick look at the table then and see what that looks like come the end of match day 1. All 20 teams have played on the opening weekend, and let's show you what that does to our first look of the Premier League table this season. Manchester City top the table after the first match day, winning their game by 4-0. Sunderland, Tottenham, both picking up 3-0 victories. They take up second and third. Liverpool inside the top 4 with their opening weekend victory against Bournemouth. Also do Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Leeds and all winning on the opening day. Only 7 sides picking up victories on the opening weekend, as you can see there. They make up the top 7. Brighton and Fulham picking up draws along with Villa, who make up the top 10. Then dropping into the bottom half are Chelsea, who also drew along with Crystal Palace, and Newcastle, all drawing their opening games of the season, sees them where they are. Down to the bottom then, and 14th sees Everton, who lost tonight. Man United, who lost by the same scoreline yesterday. Bournemouth, who lost by 2 goals away at Anfield but conceded 4. There in 16th. 17th are Brentford, who were thrashed away at Nottingham Forest despite that late consolation. And the 3 teams in the bottom 3, all conceding 3 or more without scoring on the opening weekend. Burnley, West Ham and Wolves make up the bottom 3. But it's 1 down, 37 to go. And we start match week 2 in 4 days' time. No sooner gone than we're back, really, and another London derby to get you underway for match week 2 of the season. We're at the London Stadium as West Ham United look to fend off those cobwebs of the opening weekend loss away at Sunderland to a first home game of the season, and they host Chelsea as Chelsea look to get their first goal of the season and get their first win of the campaign. They head to West Ham on Friday night at 8 o'clock. And that is amongst what we expect to be a very exciting second match week of the season. This is what we expect it to be, by the way. Man City take on Tottenham, 12:30 Saturday. Arsenal Leeds, 5:30 Saturday. Then our double-header on Sunday action. Everton against Brighton is at 2 o'clock. But also on Sunday, as is always the case, as will be the case a lot this season, we will have more than one game live on Sundays. And we can tell you what that game will be. Crystal Palace taking on Nottingham Forest. We'll keep an eye on, as well as Everton Brighton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium as well, Sunday from 2. Then we're heading to London to West London. Fulham taking on Man United at Craven Cottage, Sunday 4:30. Before we round off our weekend with Game of the Week as Newcastle United host Liverpool on the Monday night. Monday at 8 o'clock. That's next week. Right, that is the opening weekend of the Premier League season done and dusted here on LFS. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us across this weekend. 6 games out of the 10 we've covered this week, and if we're lucky, it might be the same next week, so more of the same to come in a couple of days' time. Thank you so much for your company. Tonight, the Whites are off the mark. Everton are stuck in toffee, and they couldn't get off the mark tonight. David Moyes with work to do. Good night.